which can ultimately, which can be reused many times. It can be recycled into fiber, and the fiber can be used all over again. During that entire thought process, this is the most under-considered phase. They do not think about how it will be laundered, how it can be laundered in a more environmental friendly way, how it can be minimal amount of ironing. There's a UK wellness report which says that if you purchase a 250-gram cotton t-shirt, it means that you are purchasing 1700 grams of fossil fuel, and you are depositing 400 grams of waste to landfill, and you are emitting 4 kgs of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And this is all because of the laundry and drying that you are doing during its life of the t-shirt. So we have talked about the entire life cycle. Now, what needs to be is currently being done by most garment factories is that they are following this. Cradle to grave. Cradle is when the fiber is made, and grave is when you are not using it any longer and you are sending it either for incineration or landfill. So this is the most preferred as of today. But what needs to be done is, if we could, when we are reusing and recycling, so we are just increasing the life period of this, but ultimately it goes back to the grave. So we are not, this also is not a very sustainable stage. We are just increasing the life span of the grave. What we need to do is, from here, we need to close the circle and make it a closed loop manufacturing method, where the fiber is again coming back to fiber, and this fiber can enter the production system again. And there are companies which are using different kinds of business models so that they can support this kind of they can adopt this kind of a closed loop system. So there are now what is being done to reduce the impact, social and environmental impacts of the fashion industry. So different people are doing different things, and I've just taken up a few of the efforts that are going on around the world. So there's advocacy. There's this person called Aisha Barenblatt. She is the founder of Remake, and she started this pay up campaign. I was telling you about this about these large companies which refuse to pay suppliers during the pandemic. So and this amount was huge. So she started this pay up campaign to force those companies to pay up the amount that was due. So what they did was they exposed the brands that had cancelled their orders and never paid for them. So and many of these orders had already been delivered. This amounted to $40 billion worth of wages which were owed to garment workers around the world. And this pay up campaign has forced brands like Levi's, Ralph Lauren, H&M and Zara to pay up. And the amount that has been paid is $23 billion as of now. There can be accountability. There was talk earlier about transparency and accountability, so that you can bring in sustainability into the supply chain. So this is one form of accountability which has been started by Fashion Revolution. This was started in 2014. And what they do is they publish a fashion transparency index. They develop this index, and it's a tool to push world's largest fashion brands to become more transparent and to declare what they are doing about their environmental and social efforts. So if you go to their websites, there are declarations that we do this, we do this. So they actually they have created an index which measures their the transparency that they are showing. So 250 fashion brands and retailers have been reviewed and ranked according to what it is that they have, what they are choosing to disclose about social, environmental policies, practices, what is their impact in their operations and in the supply chain. Now, some other things that are being doing is that people are doing is one is recycling of these synthetic fibers. So nylon is being recycled, and and this is being done by EcoNile. So it has been developed by the Aquafel group, and they've 100% regenerated nylon yarn, which is they are producing from pre and post consumer waste, and this can be regenerated infinite number of times. So once the dress, you don't want to wear the dress again, you just it is turned into EcoNile, and again it enters into the manufacturing process. Recovering and giving new life to waste that would otherwise have gone to the landfill. So obviously you are not extracting raw fossil fuel again, you are just recycling the fossil fuel that has already been used in making the nylon. And and they say that they are halving carbon dioxide emissions by using waste instead of new oil. Leather, people don't want to use animal-based leather, so different types of leather are being developed, this is Milo, which comes from mushroom, the mycelial structure that is there, that is used to make mushroom. For packaging, Dell has done it, IKEA is looking at this alternative. What they do is they take mushroom spores and they inject it into agricultural waste, and the mushroom spores grow, and a very toughened kind of material develops, which is being used as a substitute for thermocol in packaging. Palm leather, which is made of areca palm leaves. Tomtex, which is made from coffee grounds, and biopolymer chitin. Chitin is found in the exoskeleton of insects, of crustaceans, and from seashells. And Pinatex is made from pineapple leaves. There are man-made cellulosics, which I talked about earlier. So trees being converted into pulp and then converted into fiber. And here bamboo is being woven into bamboo fabric. If you go to Myntra, you will find bamboo shirts nowadays, bamboo trousers. Viscose fibers, modal fibers, lyocell fibers, these are being made by Lenzing. Bemberg is making Cupro, which is made from the fuzzy material, cotton-like fuzz, which surrounds the seeds of cotton. So once cottonseed oil has been removed, that fuzz is taken and made into Cupro. Bamboo, Nanolose, which is made from liquid food waste industries like beer, wine. It also uses coconut waste. Orange fiber, which is used from the cellulose, which is made from the cellulose of orange skin. Then there's bioplastics. One of them, that is Ingeo. It is made from corn. It avoids the petrochemical industry completely, so no oil used. And the good thing is that when you're recycling plastics, some bioplastics can also be recycled along with normal plastics. But the downside of this is that bioplastics is it's gone. So people say that this should be eaten and not used for making clothes. So food should not be diverted from the food industry into garment industry. So another thing that is being done is certification. Of course, this has its own problems. Not all certification systems are completely foolproof. As Dr. Sukhpal talked about earlier, that they have their negatives and they are not entirely honest. For example, Rugmark, which is a certification system used by rugs in India, carpets, which says that child labor has not been used in making the rug. This certification system itself is developed and owned by a group of rug makers. So it doesn't make sense that they themselves are certifying product from their own industry. So we have certifications for social indices. So Fairwear, Seva, Seva is a women's group, where women have power over the money, and they come together to make products and sell. So similarly, there are business itself. And people say, I mean, this is considered foolproof because this is not certified just once and forgotten about. Every, after a regular period of